So outside of that, man, like I said, just trying to get on TikTok, trying to get the reels popping, trying to just expand the brand, expand the network. Everything's going good, man. Everything that's been going on since this weekend. The biggest thing, honestly, is the Jags clinching a playoff spot, man. The Jacksonville Jaguars, after years of BS and mediocrity, finally break through, right? Finally break through the bullshit and get a playoff spot and beating the Tennessee Titans, actually sweeping them. When's the last time we actually swept the Titans in the division?
Salute to the Jags.
Salute to the Jags, man. I was down there. At the game.
You were down there big pimping?
Oh, I was down there stunting in front and shining for the world. See, I had on my grandfather's vintage 1995 Jaguars crew neck, you know what I'm saying, with the bucket hat.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The cargos with the Yeezys I got on my feet. You know what I'm saying? The Southflower Yeezys. It was a dope look. You know what I'm saying? Went down there. My cousin was there. My aunts and uncles. You know what I'm saying? My family was out there. You know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of friends, business partners. Everybody was out there. It was a great time. The hose was out. Anytime the hose is out, you need to be outside.
Okay,
So
you was in the pimp's place in the whole.
I was in the pimp's place, having it my way, doing what we were supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we was there. It was a night game. The stadium was sold out, and it wasn't sold out fully the other team's fans like it usually is sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It was actually sold out by residents of Jacksonville, Florida, and the fans of the Jaguars. So the loudness in there, the way that stadium was rocking, like I haven't seen the stadium rocking like that, me personally, since probably like 2008, 2009, the David Garrard, Jones Drew years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And even with those years, we used to have like late season night games against the like the Colts and shit, and Peyton Manning would always gut us out at the end of the year. So that was, that's all I experienced. I wasn't there in 2017 when we beat the Seahawks before we went to the playoffs and stuff, or I just didn't experience any of that 2017 run. So actually being down there and seeing that, and actually
Jaguars surprised me getting into the playoffs. I don't know why, nigga.
Yeah, man, because listen, we were 2-6. We lost 5 straight games, all by single digit scores, but nonetheless, we lost 5 straight games, and doing that, honestly, there's no chance that it looks like you guys can go to the playoffs. Now, it looks like you guys are a good team. You're just, coming up short. But if you lose 5 straight games, why do you think you're about to go 6-1? You know what I'm saying? Or 7-2, however, whatever the record is, 8-2. I don't even know. Were we 9-8?
Yeah, we were late bloomers, man.
Yeah, but the way we got hot, that's what I'm saying. That's why I understand what Don Philly said. The way, if we would have came in the season like 7-3, like Tennessee made the playoffs, or at least like 5-5, or floating around 500, and then kind of took off. Yeah, then it's like, okay, we seen Jacksonville coming, but even as a fan, we didn't see this shit coming, man.
I didn't see it coming, but I didn't want to talk shit to Don Philly.
I appreciate. I know. I already. Yeah,
I didn't want to act like we always.
We always been good. Yeah,
what you mean?
We've been an ass franchise, and we finally got a good quarterback, and that's
a good quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, they said he was going to be the next Peyton Manning, John Elway, Andrew Luck. Like he had he was only rival to them coming into the league type shit. Like
who do we play on our first game?
We play the Los Angeles Chargers. We beat them in week 3. I want to say we beat them week 3, 38-3, or like 38-10, something like that.
Ain't that who Jalen Ramsey went to play for?
No. Jalen went to the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, that shit's so confusing.
Yeah. But we beat the Chargers pretty bad, and that was like our coming out party of the year, where people were kind of really looking at us like, oh shit, y'all are actually good, because what's his name? Josh Herbert, the quarterback for the Chargers, he was a high draft pick too, and he's pretty good. The Chargers have a good franchise. They have good players. They have really good premium talent. They just kind of have a shitty coach. So in a way, they kind of underachieve in a way of consistency, but they have a talented team, just as talented as ours. So it's a really good challenge to see with them, with Derwin James, if Joey Bosa is able to play, if they get Khalil Mack to come in there, if you got like I said, they got Asante Samuel Jr. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of good pieces. They got the Murray, the linebacker from Oklahoma. We're not even talking about how they're gonna have Austin Eckler coming out the backfield. Like how are we gonna keep up with Austin Eckler? What's our answer on that? You know what I'm saying? Hopefully Mike Williams doesn't play, because Can we actually stop Mike Williams and Keenan Allen? Keenan Allen's one of the best route runners and receivers in the NFL, especially getting first downs. He's the go-to guy, especially on first and second downs. So how are we going to guard against that? How are we going to get pressure? I believe we're going to get pressure. I believe we blew him out in LA this year. So honestly, I think we have a good chance of beating them. My only problem right now is I feel like I haven't seen Trevor Lawrence really play a really solid game since the Cowboy game. Because the Jets, it was ugly, it was rainy, it was cold, so everybody's giving them a pass, right? Cool, fine. Then you go to the Texans game. The Texans game kind of sat people in the second half, but in the first half, Trevor didn't look too hot. All right, cool, whatever. Now this week, he missed some throws. He didn't look his sharpest either. All right, I'm chilling, but are you going to be able to turn it on next week? Wildcard weekend? We'll see. I think he can. I think he's the truth. I think, honestly, he's the force multiplier that creates us in favorable situations where if we have the better quarterback, we're going to win the game. And right now, unless we're playing against Josh Allen in the Bills, Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs, Joe Burrow in the Bengals, there's not a clear-cut quarterback that's going to bring their team against the Jacksonville Jaguars and be favored to beat us strictly off their quarterback. I just don't see that happening. I'm not saying we're the best team in the NFL. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is right now we're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. And I think just that alone is going to be a reason why we're going to be dangerous to play. It's Saturday night. We just had a Saturday night home game. It's going to be crazy in the stadium. So the Jaguars Chargers game, and it's going to be on NBC. Everybody's already said that's kind of the most intriguing game right now. So just to give everybody a fair shot, because I know it's other teams and other people with their respective teams in the NFL. So I'm just going to go down the playoff list real quick. So after that game, we have the Ravens and Bengals. They play on Saturday. No, they play on Sunday. Ravens and Bengals. They just played last week. Lamar Jackson hasn't played in about 5 weeks, but a lot of people think Lamar Jackson is doing this to get leverage in his negotiations at the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, it's the truth. For him to get some leverage at the end of the season is important and it's crucial because he's trying to get a contract. If they paid Deshaun Watson $240 million guaranteed and Deshaun Watson doesn't have an MVP, nor took his team to the Super Bowl, it's like Lamar Jackson probably wants about $250 to $260 million guaranteed. But how are you going to pay him that if he's not healthy, nor has he won a Super Bowl? But at the same time, what Lamar Jackson is saying is you take me off this team, look at the team. We go from a Super Bowl contender, a perennial playoff team, to an average, below average offense. They can't even function without Lamar Jackson. So he's kind of adding leverage. So I personally think he's going to come back for the playoffs.
That's the black guy play for the
Baltimore.
Ravens. Yeah. I saw Skip Bayless talking about him. He don't want to come to work.
It's not he don't want to come to work. He don't want to come to work injured and then hurt himself and then not be able to get a deal because he's on the last year of his contract. And
I heard he's been like a subpar quarterback though.
No, not at all. He's an MVP.
That's RG3? No, RG3.
No. Lamar Jackson. No, Lamar Jackson, bro. Lamar Jackson's won the NFL MVP. He runs for 1,000 yards every year. He's broke Michael Vick's single season rushing yard record. Lamar Jackson is literally been as advertised. He's the closest thing to Michael Vick we have in the NFL.
I know Lamar Jackson, but I can't talk that much sports because I'm not in that.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey, and if anybody else wants to hop in on this sports topic while we're talking about it, call in. Let's go ahead, drop that chat. Give people the opportunity to, I don't want to sit up here and be talking bad about y'all teams and y'all feel like I don't have a voice to speak. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the live chat. Salute my nigga RMC in the building. It was always the Jags. It was always the Jags, man. But so the Ravens, like I said, with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson has to come back this week. You know what I'm saying? But if he comes back this week, is it going to look more like, oh, you let your team drop and now you want to come back? I think, nah. I feel like Lamar Jackson come back because like, okay, I'm healthy and you guys need me. We're in a solid playoff position anyways. We'll go to Cincinnati and play him, especially they haven't seen me play in a couple weeks. So if I come back, the addition in the fact of having Lamar Jackson for the first time in 5 weeks is definitely going to be a key factor in how the Bengals play defense this coming Sunday. And then now to talk about the Bengals, they are reigning AFC champions. They already know how to do it. They already got the team. They've been relatively healthy all year. They got the best receiving core. They got a top 10, top 12 running back in Mixon. And even when they put P. Ryan in, P. Ryan is super efficient when he runs the ball. They already have, I feel like they don't look at the Ravens as peers. They look at the Ravens since they went Super Bowls. They respect them as opponents, but they're worried about the Chiefs and the Bills.
Why are we in the wild card?
What do you mean why are we in the wild card?
I thought we won our division.
We did win a division. That's why we got a wild card spot. Every division winner gets a home wild card game.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Bengals, they're really focused on the Bills and the Chiefs, and the Bills and the Chiefs are focused on the Bengals and vice versa. It's really those three teams at the top who are all looking at each other. So I think that Bengals and Ravens game, if you ask me, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals to win the game, even if Lamar Jackson plays, because I don't see it being a factor. I don't see it being a way that Joe Burrow, especially at home in the playoffs, as clutch as Joe Burrow is, I don't see Joe Burrow losing in the first round wild card against the Ravens. I feel like if you're going to come in and beat the Bengals, you're going to have to be hot like fish grease. And even though the Ravens defense has improved since they got Roquan Smith via trade from the Bears, I still don't think him and Lamar Jackson and the rest of that bunch, even with Dobbins, I don't think they're going to beat Burrow. So we're going to get to the last game in the AFC, which is the Dolphins and Bills. I'll be honest, this is the least intriguing game of the AFC bracket because this is another third time around this season because they're divisional opponents. The first game we've seen with the Bills and the Dolphins in Miami was awesome. The Bills just ran out of time. The Dolphins played a great game. You kind of seen how Tua and Waddle and Hill were going to run through the whole season. It was a really good forecast on how they moved. That was great. I enjoyed that first game. The second game they played was also a good game a couple of weeks ago on Saturday night in Buffalo. And I think Tua got a concussion, and we haven't seen him since that game. So is Tua going to come back? Of course not. I don't see them playing Tua at all for the rest of the year. Teddy Bridgewater, to be honest, is a bum. After that New England game that they played, like, he's fucking trash. He literally cost them that game. And then the new guy they have, he's horrible too. The only reason why they even got in the playoffs is because they're playing an equally horrible defense. No, not defense, an equally horrible offense in the New York Jets, who have no quarterback direction. So to see the Bills, who already are running off this high of the DeMar Hamlin situation, you know what I'm saying, being the NFL storyline, they're going to go in and beat the dog shit out of the Miami Dolphins. And that will be that. So my AFC bracket playoff picks are, as said, Bills over Dolphins. We got the Jags over the Chargers. And then we also have the last game was the Bengals over the Ravens. Okay, now to the NFC playoff picture. The game that I think I'm least interested in, to be honest with you, is the Giants versus Vikings. Only because, actually, no, let me switch that up. I honestly think every game in the NFC playoff bracket is exciting, to be honest. And this is why I say this. Because the Giants are dressing up Daniel Jones to be some type of serviceable quarterback, knowing that he's really not that guy. We finally get to see him in the playoffs. Then we got Kirk Cousins. And the Giants have been a team that's overachieved and kind of fought through and did more than they expected. And the Vikings have been a team that's won a lot of close games, but against good teams have been getting blown out. So is this Vikings-Giants game, to me, I think the narrative and the dynamic around that game is going to be who chokes off the most. Like, that game is going to be somebody's going to throw a pick. It's going to be a fumble. It's who's going to make the mistake at the right time to give the other team the game. That's what the Vikings and Giants feel like to me. Two quirky, two wacky teams. You don't really get them. They both have better records than what they really are, have gotten lucky in a lot of situations, might not be back in the playoffs next year. So we got to look into that. We got to see what type of time is going on in that game. Then we're going to go to the Seahawks, 49ers. Personally, I don't want to see this game either because it's another 3-time around division game in the playoffs, especially having a 7th seed added. But one thing I will say, out of every team in the NFC, the team the 49ers want to see the least out of everybody, to be honest, is the Seahawks. Because the Seahawks is a divisional opponent. The Seahawks have an offensive score and they have defensive players who can make plays. And with Pete Carroll's going to get them boys riled up, and they're not scared to play in San Francisco at all. And I do believe that the Seahawks might be the only team to upset the 49ers. Like, if the Seahawks don't beat the Niners might just steamroll the rest of the NFC playoff bracket. And is Brock Purdy going to really outperform motherfuckers in his fifth and his sixth start in the playoffs? Is the stage going to get too big? Is he going to make the big mistake? Is he going to be what holds the 49ers back? Could possibly happen. I think nobody's really brought that up. Is there going to be a certain point where the 49ers are rolling and Brock Purdy has a meltdown, or people figure him out and it's too late because he's a third string quarterback? Will a Cinderella story abruptly end in the playoffs? That's what I want to see from the 49ers and the Seahawks. Then we look at the Buccaneers and the Cowboys, right? That's the biggest game of the weekend. And even though it's a Monday night game, that's huge.
I'm surprised Tom Brady made it to the playoffs
with an 8-9 record. Yeah, but his division was worse than ours. Actually, it was a little better than ours, but it was the definition of mediocre.
That's white privilege. And they said, "Hey, everybody be sorry in this division." Now, will you be surprised if Tom Brady go to the Super Bowl?
Nope.
Oh, damn.
Not at all.
The way they've been playing this year.
You know why?
Why?
Because it's Tom Brady. And I've seen him too many times pull rabbits out the hat. Even when they played the Saints this year, they were down like 3-13 with like 2 minutes left, or like 13-0 with 2 minutes left, bro. And Tom Brady came down and like won the game. Fucking like, it was like 16-30. It was some shit. It was some shit. He had no. It wouldn't happen if it was Tom Brady. Like, people would say it was rigged.
Mm-hmm.
The way, like, he literally just turned it on the last 2 times you're gonna get the ball tonight, on some Kobe shit, some LeBron, some Michael Jordan shit. And like I said, watching Tom Brady my whole life, pretty much since 2001, since I was 20, I'm watching for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Never gonna count him out. The Cowboys are destined. The Dallas Cowboys are destined to slip on the banana peel. They're an accident waiting to happen. And this is a perfect setup for the Dallas Cowboys, as good as their season was, to go home, especially after that terrible performance they had against Sam Howell and the Washington Commanders. So, to be honest, recapping the NFC playoff picture, I got Seahawks. No, my bad. I got 49ers over Seahawks. I got Vikings over Giants. And I got Bucks over Cowboys.
You got Jacksonville over the Chargers.
Jacksonville over the Chargers. Bills over Dolphins. Bengals over Ravens. But then somebody's like, listen, so you're saying all the home teams are going to win their playoff games? That's huge to say. Do I think all the home teams win the playoff games? Who has the highest chance of losing a home playoff game? Being honest, the Jags. Being honest, the Vikings. I can see the Vikings losing to the Giants. Definitely. I can see the Buccaneers definitely losing to the Cowboys. Honestly, I'm just picking the Buccaneers to beat the Cowboys because I'm from Florida and I want Tom Brady to beat the Cowboys. But I do think that the Cowboys can definitely beat the Buccaneers. Oh man, she didn't die.
And also, rest in peace.
But I know niggas throw the RIP up in the chat. So yeah, just RIP anybody you feel like in the chat. For real.
No, but for real, RIP. I don't know how I say his name, but he was a lineman for Jacksonville Jaguars, and he had a YouTube channel called The Observant Lineman. And I used to follow his YouTube channel, man. Rest in peace
that's fucked up.
To that guy. He was a big time YouTuber, not big time. He had like 66.
Yeah, but that's good. Yeah. Once you hit like, to me,
that's
like
big time to me. Shit, I get
10K is like you on the way. 10K, you on the way, man. So hey, speaking of getting 10K, hey man, we'll get to 10K. Let's hit that like button. Hit that like button.
Yeah, make the likes look like the viewers.
Make the likes look like the viewers. You know what I'm saying?
The pimping.
RP the pimping. You know what I'm saying? Hit the Cash App hashtag Florida Boy J. $ Florida Boy J. You know what I'm saying? Support the system. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much that wraps up the playoffs picture. I don't feel like there's any teams that like don't really deserve to be in there. Teams I don't really want to see in there outside of Dolphins, and that's only because they have a quarterback injury. So to get into some of these topics today,